All right, so we are joined from Atlanta by my friends Adrian, Marshall, and Monica McKendrick, friends of the class. So glad to have you guys here with us again. Engineers at Lockheed Martin, one of the largest manufacturing firms in the entire world. And we just got through watching some videos about some of the things Lockheed Martin does, some of the technology you guys deal with, and actually a specific video about engineering at Lockheed Martin. And we're talking about the manufacturing career cluster. And even though you guys are not right there in the plant doing the day-to-day stuff, you are a huge part of the manufacturing process. And there's a lot of technology, a lot of science, a lot of planning, and a lot of training that goes into that. So before we get into what all you guys do, why don't you tell us a little bit about you guys' educational backgrounds, because you're both proud HBCU alums.
We are. I guess I'll start. So hello, everyone. My name is Monica McKendrick. I am from Albany, Georgia. And I am a proud alum of Clark Atlanta University. I went there and got a bachelor's and master's in computer science, and then went on to get my MBA as well. As Mr. Piggott mentioned, I currently work at Lockheed Martin as a systems engineer, and that's a little bit about me. So I'll turn it over to Adrian.
Yep. Good morning again. My name is Adrian Marshall. I'm originally from Tallulah, Louisiana, which is about 45 minutes west of Jackson there, right across the Mississippi River. So very familiar with Jackson. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Southern University. And I got my graduate degree also in electrical and computer engineering from Georgia Tech. So that's kind of what brought me the way of the Georgia, Atlanta area there. I am currently in systems engineering with Lockheed Martin, as was stated earlier. And my projects include C-130 aircraft simulators, and getting into a little bit of a new project that's called LMXT, or Lockheed Martin Next Gen Tankers, with the simulation side as well. So do a lot of work in simulation for our U.S. and international customers.
That's incredible. And that's what we were just looking at, that at Lockheed Martin, in any type of advanced manufacturing, it's not just assembly line, we're putting parts on it. There's so much planning, there's so much technology, there's so much, on the electrical side, the chemical side, the system side, and the computer side, not only to be safe, but to save money, to stay efficient, and to make sure you're making the best product. So you talked a little bit about the C-130 and the simulator. So what are some projects that you guys do or that you've worked on, and some of the skills that you use?
Yep. So you kind of mentioned there's a lot that goes into these projects. Both Monica and I currently work on C-130 simulators, and I can tell you, from the very onset, you've probably heard the term a few times. If you don't have a plan, then you plan to fail. So we start on early with our customer, which is usually the U.S. government or international customer, to say, what do you need training on? What does your fleet need training on? Obviously, if you're flying an aircraft or driving a tank or doing the captain of a ship, right? We train crews how to do all that, land, air, and sea, and a lot more beyond that. So with our U.S. government customers, we have strategic planning sessions to say, all right, we have this many air crew, and we want to get this many trained in so many days. Here's the suite of training devices that you need to do that. And once we find out that number, it's like, all right, now what do you want the training devices to do? So we have a plan very early on. It's called an integrated master schedule that we lay out each and every step that we kind of execute to along the way. So it goes through proposals, it goes through design, it goes through development, integration and test, and a lot of paperwork to formally deliver it to our customer. So we have our hands in all those pots on a daily basis. We're working with armed forces, U.S. government customers, suppliers, and fellow industry members on a day-to-day basis.
I think Adrian answered it perfectly.
Yeah, and then I know you guys do a lot of planning, and then it goes all the way up to the assembly process. But even on the assembly process, there has to be engineering and technology and science skills. So as you've been with the company a few years now, what are some of these skills that you're seeing across the board along the process that young people are needing to get into this field?
It's a wide array, right? From the manufacturing, if you have some electrical or mechanical or, just some manufacturing experience, you could be useful there. Logistics, we have a lot of logistics people as well. Definitely on the engineering side, computer systems. I mentioned electrical and mechanical. So I think any skill set can find a fit within Lockheed Martin, to be honest. And also, once you come in, we hope to continue to develop those skills and prepare you for, whatever you choose for your career. So it doesn't have to be like one specific focus. So any various backgrounds can find a place within engineering and within manufacturing as a whole.
Yeah, and we actually have a great engineering program here in Madison County Schools where they would get 2 years of training on engineering high school.
Wow.
Yeah, and especially with the growth of robotics, not only developing, but in the making of production. So there's more and more robotic production, there's more and more robotic programming, there's more and more robotic and engineering as far as maintenance. So that is such a huge skill, and I'm glad you mentioned that because the technology is always changing. Not to mention the computer. I know you guys both have computer science backgrounds. Talk a little bit about that because when it comes to the computer engineering side, I've had people before say, yeah, I got a degree in computer science, but everything I learned, I don't use it anymore because I had to get certifications and in other programs. I had to constantly keep learning this stuff. So especially in high tech field like you guys are in, and having to always develop something new. With these simulators, they're going to develop a new aircraft. They're going to need a new simulator. So how do you guys stay on top of that? And what are some of the things that you've done to do that?
Yeah, so there's, to your point, right now as we speak, we are hiring like many software engineers, right? And I think a lot of us, we go to college, we learn a lot of things, and some of it you use, some of you don't. Maybe you don't use any of it, but or maybe you use all of it. And we have people, with all those experiences, right? And especially when you talk about software and computer programming, like we have, the gamut of people that are working all those programming languages, and they're going into many different aircraft and vehicles and simulators, medical devices. And, you think about it, just software touches so much that we do on a daily basis. So that's definitely something that's huge that is looked for in our industry.
Oh, yeah.
And as we work with others, and I wanted to go back and touch on a point that Monica made. You kind of think about the various parts of your body, and you have different functions for the hand than you would the feet or your elbow, and it's kind of like that in our world, right? So you have people with backgrounds in mathematics, physics, gaming, software, electrical, mechanical, civil, industrial, all across the board there. So I think it's great to hear that your school is offering, some engineering focus with the curriculum there, because I think that definitely gives a head start, once you're looking into, STEM fields and other areas there.
Yeah,
and one thing I'd add,
go ahead, Monica. I'm sorry.
And I was going to add, and you kind of hit on a little bit, it's constantly changing. So we are always constantly learning. We're always, taking different courses and trying to stay up to date on the technology, right? Because what we learned in school many years ago is probably very different from what
Wasn't
they are
that
learning.
many?
what they are learning today. So, just to continue to stay competitive within our field, it's very important that you're always, just that continuous learning is happening.
Yeah, and Adrian made a great point, because here we have a large Nissan plant, and they're a huge provider of jobs in the area. But it's like you said, you can have a great tool, you can have a great materials, you can have a great software system, but if any of that doesn't work together, when you get to time to put it together, it's going to be a crap product that goes to the customer. And it really is such a tenuous and very detailed process that takes skilled people from the beginning all the way to the people at the end testing it. So it really is, there's need for these skills, and it's not just the stand on the assembly line, let's screw stuff in anymore. There's so much technology and engineering, and like we said, robotics involved in that. And it really is that, you keep mentioning customers. Obviously you're dealing with the federal government, but you guys also have private customers. So you actually, you can cost the company a lot of money by not having something right. So it really is a very important job, especially when you're talking about big business on the corporate side. Obviously you're both HBCU grads, and I always like talking about this. Both of you went to very prestigious HBCUs, one in Atlanta, one in Baton Rouge. So we have young people here that they're already starting to think about college, starting to think about, I want to go to a community college, I want to do this. But what are some things that HBCUs offer that maybe other universities cannot?
For me, going to a historically Black college and university for me was important because I wanted to continue to be around people that look like me. And I don't think you can get that environment everywhere, but you can definitely get it at a HBCU. And it was also important for me to see that people like me can succeed. And when you go to an HBCU, you see it every day. Like, everybody is doing amazing things. Everybody is, handling their business, getting their work done, getting scholarships, getting internships, getting offers. And, sometimes, if we take a step back, we don't see that every day. We don't see our people succeeding and getting these opportunities. But when it's with you every day, all day, and you have that feeling, I can do it too. That's what I wanted, and that's what I needed. And I think that's one of the things that going to an HBCU can definitely offer.
Yeah. So to add to that, right? So I'm at a point now where I have 4 kids, and the older ones are starting to look, or have been through college and starting to look at colleges. So I encourage them to kind of look across the spectrum, not only HBCUs, but also PWIs, or predominantly white institutions, and see what's the best fit. Now, yes, I did choose Southern University, but I, visited some other schools before I made that decision to attend Southern, but I'm glad I did. One of the buzzwords that we use a lot in our industry is inclusion. And I could say for me, the moment I stepped on that campus, there was an immediate sense of inclusion, of family, and just that environment, was just so welcoming to me. Comparing it to my experience at Georgia Tech, I didn't feel that sense of inclusion as I started. But as I kind of matriculated through that curriculum there, I could see the effort that the school was putting into diversity and inclusion, so that everyone felt welcome, right? So you kind of grow into networks and knowing who's for you and who's maybe not for you, but it was something that had to grow on me at Georgia Tech, and as opposed to that immediate feeling that I received at Southern University or HBCU.
Yeah, and I've actually been on both of those campuses, and that is 2 beautiful campuses. Southern's right on the river. Clark, Atlanta's right in the middle of downtown Atlanta. So much going on. So 2 great locations. And I think it's important for young people watching now, watching later to understand just because it's historically Black doesn't mean it's exclusively Black, because there's very large international populations at both of those campuses, and they're doing more and more to be diverse. Southern University having the law school there, very diverse law school, and Clark Atlanta in the middle of a major city. Obviously, you're going to have a diverse student body. So I think that's very important to understand as well, because all these young Black kids, sometimes I hear them say, well, I'm sick of being around Black people. I want to go to something different, which I get. You want to experience culture. But at the same time, just because it's HBCU doesn't mean it's an all-Black school. And I think that's important to understand as well. But Monica, we would be remiss if we did not talk about your new venture. Because you have just been featured in Shout Out Atlanta magazine, being a business owner. So it is, I think, and we have some entrepreneurship students in here. And even though you have a great career, it's something that you're stepping into and doing something on the side and making a name for yourself. And you saw a need for it. So let's talk a little bit about your business you just started. I think it's cool.
Oh, great. So yeah, earlier this year, I started a business called Party Central ATL. And right now we are specializing in 360 photo booths. If you don't know what that is, it's the little booth you get on at parties and it goes around and makes these cool videos for the guests or whatnot. But I am truly enjoying it. I can say it was a little scary because it's always scary to step out on your own. But you just go with it, right? And even if you fail, you learn something in the process. So again, just launched earlier this spring. It's been great so far. Like I said, I truly enjoy doing the parties, still trying to get my name out there and grow. I was definitely thrilled by the article and Shout Out Atlanta. And so it's going well so far. I like it.
But I think it's important for everybody to know you can still be an employee and be an entrepreneur.
Definitely.
So, you can work for a great company like Lockheed Martin, still get your employee benefits, and then plan and have a side business. And then something we found out in some of these guests is that most entrepreneurs are not full-time entrepreneurs. They keep, especially they have kids, they still work for, even if it's a part-time job, they keep the benefits. They keep the insurance. So being able to do that, I think is, especially as a Black business owner in a big city, it's something for these kids to look into. You have the technology skills, you have the engineering skills, you can transfer that into doing something on your own. That doesn't mean you have to quit your job. You can still use that and I'm sure you've learned a lot of marketing and sales and business at a big business like Lockheed Martin. You can use that on your own in another business. So I think it's important to be able to learn things like that in big corporations to see how you can do it for yourself. Because obviously the 360 thing is hot right now. We had it at my classroom. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. You make a great point. Like a lot of entrepreneurs start that way. Even if they end up being full-time entrepreneurs, a lot of them start working a full-time job, and this is my side hustle. And yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, and congratulations on that. That seems like a lot of fun. That was a great write-up. And that was just last week, so that was really cool. But I do have some questions I want to get to, and these are all ninth graders, and and these are really good. The first one is Caitlin McGee, and this is a great question because she asked, "Is a day or week ever typical, or does it always change?"
No. For us, I think our days are always changing. I think Adrian can attest to. We come to work, I can have a to-do list of what I'm going to do this day, what I'm going to accomplish, and don't let us be on travel in the field working. It's every day is different. Every day new issues arise for us to resolve. Every day we're working with different customers, different subcontractors. So every day is different. And honestly, that's what I love about it. Because I don't know what I'm walking into from day to day. It keeps me on my toes. And it's not boring, to be honest, so.
Yeah, and that's the part about the job that I love, right? At least with our particular positions, you could be at your desk working on a design one day, and the next week you're in Japan or Germany or UK, and then you're back in the office. You might be testing something or doing an analysis or helping somebody, work through personnel issues. So there's a lot going on each and every day that kind of keeps the environment dynamic, and look forward to the challenges of the day. And I think it's not mundane, so we don't get bored. There's no twiddling of the thumbs on our side, and each day is a new challenge and a new opportunity.
I don't have a name on this one. This is a really cool question, so I wanted to ask it. They're asking, is it cool seeing aircraft that you've helped work on be flown once it's a finished product?
To me,
Yeah.
it is. When we are in the plant here in Marietta, Lockheed shares a runway with Dobbins Air Force Base. So just to see, like, sometimes you're out in the parking lot and you'll see the C-130s fly by, and it's like, man, I know about that, right?
Awesome.
Like I can have a conversation about that aircraft right there. So I definitely think it's cool to be able to, know a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just amazing when you think about it. When you go from just a concept that's on paper to something that's actually in the air, flying,
Absolutely.
carrying equipment, carrying your personnel. It's like it's kind of mind blowing as I sit here thinking about it at this point, right? Just going from a thought in someone's head or a design on a paper to something that's actually, out there doing work, getting the job done. And it's even more exciting, they'll show C-130s in movies or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Like that's a
You really are. I mean, you really are playing a huge part in one of the most technologically advanced vehicles on the planet. So that's really cool. This is Amicia Brinson, and she asked, do you ever feel overwhelmed when you have to learn new technology?
I do.
Listen,
I
was overwhelmed yesterday. It's like one of my senior managers brought a project to me, and I just had no idea if I was going to get it done. The great thing, about where we work is that you work with a lot of really smart people. So even if you don't know how to do something, it's almost guaranteed that somebody around you knows how to do it. So it's oftentimes just finding the right people to connect with or their right network to help you accomplish the job you need to do. Sometimes it may feel like you're on the island and it's all your responsibility to get the job done. But the reality is that we are a huge network of people that support each other and can work together to accomplish those missions that seem overwhelming.
And that's a great lead in to this next question. And this is Destiny Smith. And she asked, do you ever feel like you are overwhelmed and lost working for such a large company?
Yes, as well. You can definitely get that feeling. It kind of leads into what Adrian said, though, right? Like, you do realize that it is a network, and if you run into any issues or you need help with something, definitely reaching out beyond just our team and just in Marietta. I mean, Lockheed Martin is a worldwide organization, right? So just within the states and in different countries, we can definitely find people to assist us when, we're stuck a little bit.
And I just have one more from the students, and this is Quiz Harris, and this is about entrepreneurship. He has, as a Black business owner, what are your daily expectations and goals, and how do you balance that with your schedule?
So right now, since I'm, just starting out, my expectations and goals is to get bookings. So I'm constantly, social media is big. So constantly trying to market myself, make posts on social media, magazines, et cetera, to get my company's name out there and what we do out there. The balance it can be a lot, honestly, at times. Lockheed Martin is my full-time job. It does take the majority of my day. But I do have to make time as an entrepreneur as well to plug my business and do work for that and respond to customers, et cetera. So it is a balance. I know you read the article, and so that was one of the things I talked about, is it can easily become a work balance, right? But it also is important to make sure you take time for yourself and manage your life, and family and friends too. So there are times I'm working, I log off of Lockheed, may go get some dinner, and I'm right back to working on, Party Central ATL for the rest of the evening. But I do factor in breaks and family time as well. So it's about whatever you choose to do as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I agree. But that's so cool how you've seen a growing trend of entrepreneurs still have the full-time job, but having the side hustle. But we're almost out of time, guys, and I know you guys are busy. And we thank you guys so much as always for joining us. And I know I've asked you this before, but right now I've got a room full of young Black kids that are in ninth grade, 14, 15, 16 years old. Some of them may be interested in manufacturing. Some of them may be interested in engineering. Some of them may not be. But no matter what they want to do, they're going to face a lot of obstacles. And it's not a matter if, it's a matter of when. But you guys are just great examples of great professionals that are doing some great things for a great company. So what are some things they can do now to overcome those obstacles the same way you guys did?
Yeah, so, 3 words just came to mind, and they all began with P's, and I did not making this up. Planning, preparation, and prayer, right? So I think we kind of hit on that planning theme as we first started. It's like, start planning now, looking at colleges that you might want to attend, looking at majors you might want to have. If you don't want to go to college, looking, at what you want to do in life. Having a plan now, the earlier you can have a, idea of what you want to do in life, the better you can start planning for that. And that kind of also goes along with their preparation, right? Do I need to go to this school? Or do I need to go to the military? Or do I need to go into the workforce right away? There are a lot of options, that you have to be successful in life. But the earlier you can, kind of plan out and look ahead to see exactly what you want to do, the better you are, the better you can plan it, and the better you can prepare for it. And I always tell folks, don't discount the power of prayer.
Yeah, and a company like Lockheed always looking for skilled tradespeople. So if you wanted to learn a trade, places like Lockheed and some of these places, if you don't want to do the whole college route, they really need people to operate those machines that have to be skilled. So that's a great point. It's not always let's just jump into the 4-year route. Some of those people make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then the one thing I'll add is after you do your preparation and planning, just be determined, right? And whatever you decide to do, be determined. One of the mottos at Clark Atlanta University is I'll find a way or make one. And it was drilled into us when I was in school. And that is honestly something I carry with me wherever I go. If I set my mind to it, I will find a way, or I'm going to make one to get to my goal. So definitely just always be determined in whatever it is you want to do. If plan A doesn't work, go to plan B, plan C, or if you got to go all the way to plan Z, as long as you get your goal completed, that's all that matters.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Adrian Marshall, Monica McKendrick, we thank you guys so much for taking some time for us today. Always friends of the class. Always a pleasure to have you guys.
Thank you so much. We enjoy it.
All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.